Hey, what's up YouTube? Goratha here. So today I'm going to give you guys an update on how day 1 of my Bleed Amazon build went. Give you guys a quick rundown on any issues I had and like the build, the way I leveled, like the tree changes, all my early gems. Now I'm still testing gems out, but I have a pretty good idea of what gems I'm going to be using. Also, I have a maxroll planner. I'll be linking this in the description. This gives you all my early gems, the rotation, all my notes here, some gear to go for, and some endgame setup things as well, along with the passage tree. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the early game. Now, Act 1 was actually pretty good. Spear jab, like your auto attack spear attack, was probably the best single target in Act 1, which is not too surprising. We've seen that before with maces and sometimes crossbows, stuff like that. Not too surprising. You can link whatever you want to auto attack. I don't think it matters too much. Like martial tempo is probably fine. Early on, last rate's probably fine. We are going to switch last rate to Rake and later on, but I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, auto attack is pretty strong. Explosive spear you get at level 1. This is really good. I linked this to Overabundance to get there 2 of them, along with Expedite. This makes it blow up faster. Now, explosive spear does have a delayed detonation, so it's sort of like a grenade in that way. It's still really strong. It's a lot of damage. My playstyle early on was to just run around, throw some spears, dash around. Disengage is really strong. Disengage I pretty much use the entire time. It's just really good. Almost replaces your dodge to some extent. Whenever you're jumping in, you jump in, then you jump back out with disengage. It's just really nice and it flows really well with the character. Big fan of disengage. Link it to ingenuity whenever you can. This is a later gem though, so don't worry about it too much. It actually has some damage as well, so you can think about linking it to some damage gems if you want, if you really like it. Yeah, past explosive sphere, you get Rake at tier 3. Rake is the bread and butter, I would say, of the build. Rake is your AoE and also your dashing, and it's good single target as well if you position properly. It does more damage the further away you are, so you can get some pretty good bleeds with this. But the main damage early on and through most of the game is actually the support gem on Rake, called Stomping Grounds. I wasn't sure if I was going to use this or not, but after playing the game and testing out with it, early on this is going to carry you pretty hard. Stomping Ground is, yeah, 100 to 150% of your strength is physical damage. This scales off your strength, it gives it flat damage. And yeah, Stomping Ground does a lot of damage. We stack as much strength as possible. I go to as far as to say, get the base amount of dex you need to run your other gems, and then stack as much strength as possible. With that in mind, there's some pretty good leveling uniques, like Horns of Biden. These give you strength, rage on melee hit. This is really solid early on. Along with Meganords. I don't have it in this POB here, but Meganords is a 50 strength low level belt. That's pretty good. Along with just getting strength, dex on all your gear. Now, dex is going to be pretty much strength because you need some dex to run your gems. So dex on like a shield. This will help a lot. Yeah, basically get as much strength as possible. Your secondary scaling will be your weapon early on. Now, weapon endgame is going to matter more than strength stacking. But like through the campaign, your strength actually matters probably more than your weapon, to be honest. With that in mind, this is also why we have Lacerate linked to the Rake. Lacerate does give the Stomping Ground bleed. So we'll have the Stomping Ground doing a bunch of damage, and then Lacerate will make it bleed. Rake will be your like initiator, and just doing a bunch of AoE and bleeding, everything. Yeah, Rake is really strong. There's also some pretty interesting, I'm not sure if it's like a bug, but you can cancel the animation with Rake, and it becomes like a really crazy movement skill. Basically, you hold down Rake, and then you tap parry, or block, or whatever you have. If you have a shield on, you can tap parry or block to interrupt the animation at the very end. And once you get in the rhythm of it, it's really fast. It's like ridiculous. Reminds me of the monk like pillar builds, honestly, with the their dashing around. Later on, you're gonna add in Blood Hunt. So Rake, Blood Hunt, and Disengage. This is kind of like your main playstyle. You rake in, you attack the mob with like Rake, Spearfield. If you're using this, this is really good for Rage. But you basically rake in, you attack the mob with Rake, auto attack with Rake, proc some Stomping Grounds, Anytime the monster is about to attack, you disengage. This will hit the monster again and get you out of danger. And then you can Blood Hunt back in to finish. Blood Hunt is your finisher. It does a bunch of damage based on how much bleed you've done to the monster. So blood loss is basically the amount of bleed. And then it, honestly, this one-shot bosses sometimes, like from half HP. Especially if you have your exposed weakness from your Ascendancy, this will pop off and destroy the boss. Sphere Field is used pretty much the entire time. Rage is really good on it. It's really, really strong against large hitboxes. So like Doriani Phase 2 and Act 3. You'd basically spam Sphere Field. This will be your highest single target for that type of thing. And yeah, in general, if you're anytime you're in danger and you can't go into melee range, Sphere Field will be pretty much the ability to use. It's like kind of like a ranged ability, and it's good at big targets, basically. Also good for utility, giving rage. I have Incision on it currently. I don't really know the best link yet, but Incision seems pretty good. Rage is pretty good. Messing around with some AoE gems. Sphere Field's pretty good. I'm gonna mess around with it more, but yeah, it also maims. It's pretty nice. Herald of Blood is the Spirit Gem. You get this in Act 1 when you kill the King in the Mist. Yeah, Herald of Blood is pretty nice. I mean, the explosions they do damage and felt pretty good the whole way through, honestly. Doesn't disappoint, basically. I threw on a Magnified Effect early on. This is actually my 5th link on Rake, though. Magnified Effect will make the mapping better later on. But just threw it on Herald of Blood early on, along with, you want to be using Precision. You can put that on Wind Dancer. That's your 2nd gem. Or early on, you can put on Herald of Blood. Crystals go on Herald of Blood later. This is a tier 3 gem, though, so I wouldn't worry about this too early. Crystals actually proc up Herald of Blood. Not sure if that's intended, but you can Herald of Blood procs all the bleeds on the targets, and the crystals pop out, and you kill all the monsters. It seems pretty good. Still messing around with it, but yeah, it feels pretty good. You also put like utility gems in Herald of Blood, like Blood in the Eyes. It seems pretty good. This gives you some Hobble ability, which makes it so the monsters can't evade as well, which gives you more crit because of our Ascendancy. The other ability is Bloodhound's Mark. This is a really strong ability, actually. You can link it to Single Out to get Armor Break, which increases your hit damage, basically. There's also some other decent utility gems you can put on it. It also does a lot of damage itself, so you can link damage gems to it. So it has a big explosion once you've hit like a certain amount of like damage. The explosion is pretty strong, honestly, and yeah, I don't know. Not much to say about it. It's worth using on single target, like bosses. It's an extra button. It does good single target. I like it. You should definitely use it. Pretty much everything I want to talk about with the gems. The gear, like I said early on, you want as much strength as possible, so the unique items that have strength are good. I pretty much use Horns of Bendon all the way into maps, honestly. And yeah, the strength, res, life on all your gear, dexterity, like I said, not too much to say here. I'll let you guys know if I find any good unique items to use for the build for like later on, but yeah. The weapon, you are looking for as much fizz damage as possible. Attack speed is really nice for quality of life, and flat accuracy will be really good later on for your precision penetrate node. This will give you flat fizz damage later on. Speaking of the Ascendancy nodes, I would recommend taking Critical Strike first. This gives a ton of damage. I ended up going Predatory Instinct first, personally, but after taking Critical Strike in game, I would take this first 100% of the time. Really noticeable. This is huge. You run it with Precision. You get like some accuracy on your gear. It starts popping off pretty fast. Definitely run a Critical Strike first, then Predatory Instinct. Not sure about the 3rd Ascendancy yet, to be honest with you, but probably enter the kill, or if you have good accuracy on your weapon and penetrate. Could even take Asmeri Brew, honestly. This might help you out early on. This is pretty solid as well, maybe for a 2nd point. If you're having like a lot of issues with mana and life during boss fights, for example. Wasn't really needed for me, personally, but it's an option. Speaking of early on, Act 2 was the only act I had like any issues at all with. The build was really strong in Act 1. Act 2, I kind of struggled a bit near the end. The boss is pretty tanky. I would recommend, if you have issues with the boss, just make sure you go back and farm the boat a little bit. Get more strength, get a better weapon. Once you have that sorted, you should be able to easily kill the boss. Parry is also pretty strong on that boss. Make sure you parry his attacks. He does a lot of attacks that are parryable. Parry gives you more damage. You take less damage. It's just good all around. Parry is a pretty nice mechanic for that boss specifically. I haven't really messed with parry too much other than that. Like, bossing usually is like the only time I really mess with parry too much. It seems okay. Not the biggest fan of parry, personally, but it's alright. It does feel pretty good when you parry a boss like 3 times in a row, though. That's kind of cool. Past that, yeah, the rest of the campaign was pretty easy. Once I got like 200 plus strength, I was just flying through the game with Stomping Ground. Onto the tree. So the tree is pretty much just go through the attack damage early on. I actually went through Stalk and Leap early because I was using Explosive Sphere. I dropped it later around like Act 3 or like Troll. It's in the POB here though. If you follow along the Path of Building / maxroll guide, this will show you my exact pathing and what I recommend taking. You want to take crit damage nodes after you have Critical Strike Ascendancy. These aren't really worth taking beforehand. Once you get them, once you get it, you should definitely take all the crit damage nodes though. Now, I didn't really focus too much on evasion on my tree. I focused on as much damage as possible. If you feel like you're dying too much, definitely go for some of these evasion nodes earlier. I just didn't feel like it was needed personally. But they are very strong, like Escape Velocity, all these evasion nodes over here, like Enhanced Reflexes. Even some of the starting evasion nodes are really strong, like Cat-like Agility. Definitely can take these if you want as well. Try to get as much evasion on gear as possible, and you should be good to go. Past that, I actually think Versatile Arms is one of the best nodes to rush for, so if you look at the tree, I do go for this pretty early. This gives a lot of strength, dex, attack speed, accuracy, later when you get Critical Strike, very strong all around. And I also kind of focus towards getting these Spear nodes pretty early. That's pretty much it with the tree. Not too much to say here. The AoE is really noticeable in maps, so AoE will be really strong later on. I'll probably even end up anointing AoE. That's kind of my plan with that. AoE just still feels really good for mapping. You get way bigger explosions, you get better rake clear. It just feels good. AoE is really good. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about with the build. Figured I'd give you guys a quick video update. I'll link you guys this planner in the description below. And I'm going to get back to blasting. I hope you guys are enjoying the league. I know a lot of people are having issues with the league. I personally am having a ton of fun. I think it's because I'm really enjoying this playstyle, and yeah, I'm going to get back into it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.